How do you do, G-Pot crew? It's your Naughty Buddy Putty here, and today we're talking about, well, Superman. Well, to be exact, the newest Superman movie created by James Gunn. So before we get started on this, if you do like this video, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm going to go into details, but if you saw the title, you notice that I talk about why you should see Superman in 3D, which we are going to go ahead and get into later, but I want to go ahead and give you guys a general idea of why this movie exists and why we have someone like James Gunn at the helm. So for those that don't know, James Gunn is pretty famous for his Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but he also has already done some DC stuff. He's done the Suicide Squad as well as Peacemaker, which includes John Cena in both movies. But the thing is people say this is the start of the new DC movies, but if you kind of think about it, James Gunn already started that with the Suicide Squad, but I'm not going to get in depth with that. Let's just technically look at this at the beginning. So this movie basically kind of jumps in kind of like the Spider-Man movies did, where they're not really going to give you too much backstory of Superman. You know the story. If you don't, you're probably not going to see this movie in the first place. So just to be, or if you like Superman, you're probably going to like this movie. Myself, I had intentions of why I wanted to see it in a certain way, and that brings us to why I ended up seeing this in 3D. So I saw the trailer for this several months back, and then the most recent trailer they put out during one of the scenes, he's fighting something. I can't remember what it was. They kind of used a lot of cuts to, make you think they're fighting certain things, but we get a quick scene of a tooth getting dislodged from someone's mouth and hitting the camera. When I saw this, I said, this might be a good movie in 3D. And to be honest with you, I think it actually improves this movie. The reason I state that is because this movie has hit or miss things. I feel like it kind of jumps in too much. Guardians had something special with it, with ensemble cast. This really felt like it was forced when it came to ensemble cast. Outside of shining characters like, for me, Nathan Fillion's Gardner as the Green Lantern, I thought was amazing. I was scared of how this is going to turn out, but I gotta remember, this is Nathan Fillion, and James Gunn knows what he's doing when he casts certain people, like his brother, and as well as Nathan Fillion. So I need to remind myself that James Gunn has good intentions with that, just like he did with his brother Sean Gunn. So, don't let that worry you. That's probably going to be one of your favorite characters. Now, as far as the main cast, let's talk about the actors. First, let's talk about David Cornsweet. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'm pretty much going to know his name now because he is the new Superman. And he did a good job. I mean, honestly, it really didn't hit me as much. I think when it comes to Superman, and I hate saying this, but the Superman from Man of Steel might be a little bit better than this. Visually, this one is better. Maybe I just need to give it some time and to really get into this character, but I've always felt Superman was one of those characters that, because he's so basically invincible, it's hard to care for him in meaningful situations. And I feel James Gunn does a good job of this when it comes to whether it be anything in the world that's attacking Superman, but it's more of a emotional disorders, things of that nature, that it might not have been focused, but you can clearly see it there. Now, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, I actually liked. I've been hearing a lot of people online that don't like him as Lex Luthor. Look, I was about to say Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor. This ain't a wrestling podcast. Lex Luthor, and he really is. I feel a good Lex Luthor. He's one of the shining things. I feel like he plays this character so well, way more grounded than we saw with Batman vs Superman, which is probably the worst Lex Luthor we ever had. And then there was, of course, Superman Returns that had Lex Luthor, but it was Kevin Spacey is what I was trying to think of. Sorry, maybe I'm not trying to remember Kevin Spacey, especially since what he's done. He really never shined to me. Honestly, the only good Lex Luthor was the original Christopher Reeve's Lex Luthor that was played by Gene Hackman. I always felt like he was a great Lex Luthor. With Nicholas Hoult, it was really good. The one thing, and then we have other cast members I can go deep into, but no one really shined to me. Again, Guy Gardner's played by Nathan Fillion. I thought I wasn't going to like it, but honestly, I loved it as one of my favorite things. One other thing is, we already know in the trailer that Krypto's in this, and I was excited for Krypto. The inner kid in me was excited. Krypto is cute at first, very funny, has some fun stuff, but they're limited. And I realize that Krypto is for the kids. As we see here, their target audience for Krypto is kids, and that's good. But the problem I see is there's so many tired things or jokes they push so much that, yeah, maybe the kids will like it, but as an adult, it really got boring to me. But again, it's going to sell toys. There's going to be stuffies everywhere of Krypto. Crypto's gonna be a fan favorite, and and I feel like it's gonna be something that's gonna continue on. I want to say this too, and again, I'm not gonna do any spoilers during this whole review, but I think that this is a healthy start, a good start. Is it the best start? I don't know. I've got mixed feelings because let's go back to the whole thing where I said about 3D. This movie feels like it was made for 3D. With Superman flying in the air, fighting things, it really looked visually stunning when it came to it. But the two things did actually go 3D, popped out in 3D. And there were times that Superman was flying or Krypto was flying and it popped out in 3D. There's a lot of moments that are action packed that really work with the technique because he's flying in midair. He's able to really push the screen where he can pop out a lot. And I think it visually made things more entertaining because it gave more of a diorama 3D effect that really helped. Prime example is there's a point in the movie where you see snow on the ground and you see something coming from the distance and we're on the foreground where we're right here on the front, and in the background, I should just say go background, we can see it coming, but we're seeing that pile of snow sitting right here, and the depth is here. There are so many moments that look really good in 3D. So I feel that seeing Superman 3D is probably the best benefit of way of enjoying this movie. Would you say this is the best Superman movie? Well, we always put a higher pedestal, especially with Christopher Reeves. And with now having special effects, it's more about the story. Compared to Man of Steel, compared to Superman Returns, compared to Batman v Superman, I think it's the best one so far. Compared to the original Christopher Reeves, I don't know. It holds a kinship because of me seeing it as a kid. And that may be what falters it, but I don't know if I'm being biased or if it's just a matter of like I want this to be good. I want DC to actually expand. I want DC to actually be successful. The thing is even though I'm always going to be a Marvel boy, I want the competition. You know what I mean? Because I still love DC. So my point is I really do enjoy the DC universe, and I want it to go bigger because I want to see characters like Lobo exist, characters that we don't get to see that really worked out in stuff like the Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn knows how to take characters you don't know about and make them special. You know what I mean? So my point to the whole thing of this is I think you should see this. I think you should see it in 3D. Don't go in thinking it's going to pull heartstrings or hit your emotions. Don't go in there that you're thinking that you're going to get an Oscar-winning performance. Go in there like, hey, I enjoyed this. I'm going to go ahead and just enjoy the ride and have fun with it. There are stuff at the end credit and mid credit. Are there importance to them? I don't want to tell you because I feel like it's spoiler because it's just, go enjoy it, hope for things to happen, and then lead into that, you know what I mean? And you decide whether or not it was worth what we saw as a complete whole. Now, I'm going to start with my reviews, start doing a star system, keeping in mind if when we did like 1 out of 10, that would be my 5 stars. I'm going to actually put this as, I'm thinking maybe 3.5 stars, or yeah, 3.5 stars feels nice to me. It's a fun movie. I think you should see it. Whether or not it's, going to be your quintessential DC start, I don't know. This doesn't feel like their Iron Man. It doesn't feel like their first X-Men movie in the Fox universe with Hugh Jackman. So it doesn't really have that gravitas to really hold it in that way. But I feel like they're on the right track. Okay. I feel like when it comes to making Superman, though, it's really hard because we already set a bar with Christopher Reeves, and now that we know a man can fly, now that we know that there is an invincible character known as Superman, it makes it kind of hard. One bonus, I don't know if it's in the trailer, but there's another character that honestly kind of hindered Superman, but then helps him later on. And I don't remember if that's in the trailers, so I don't want to reveal who it is. But it was a character I did not expect, and when it popped on the screen, I freaked out. But then I realized what was going to happen, and said, "Ooh, Superman's in trouble." That's all I'm going to say. There are some characters that you're going to see in this that you'll find out later on. And I will also point out that a lot of the leaks and the rumors out there, unfortunately, were true. So if you were able to piece things together based on the leaks and all that kind of stuff, then you're probably going to get some stuff that's going to happen. Because when I saw a few things, I go, oh, I heard that this was going to happen in the movie, and like rumors out there it was going to happen in the movie, and unfortunately did happen. So With that being said, like I said, I'm giving this 3.5 stars. I feel like it's a good deal. If you guys love this review, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Again, go see it in 3D if you're really going to see it. That I feel like it's worth it in that way. In a couple weeks, I'll be doing the Fantastic Four review. I'm not seeing in 3D. I don't feel like it's a 3D type movie based on what I'm looking, but watch me be wrong. I don't know. You tell me. You think I should see it in 3D or not? But with that being said, as always, I'm Putty with the G-Pot crew. And you know what we do? We do reviews of Superman and other things too. I hope this is successful because I do want to see the DCU thrive and be successful. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.